You know, in the world of pediatric medicine, some battles are fought entirely against the clock. Today, we're talking about one of the most urgent of them all, pediatric sepsis, where every single minute counts in what they call the golden hour.
And here's the thing. It often starts out looking like something you've seen a dozen times before. A fever, maybe they're a little tired, symptoms that could be any number of common childhood bugs. But hiding behind those really ordinary signs can be something incredibly dangerous.
Take a look at this number, 5,000. That's how many children's lives are lost to sepsis in the United States every single year. It's an absolutely staggering statistic, and it's why this is such a critical issue.
So what is it about sepsis that makes it such a silent but incredibly fast-moving threat? Let's really dig in and take a closer look.
Here's a way to think about it. Sepsis isn't the infection itself, it's the body's reaction to it. Imagine the body's immune system as the fire department, but instead of just putting out the fire, it goes completely haywire and starts flooding the whole house. That's sepsis. The body's own defense system goes into overdrive and starts damaging its own tissues and organs. And that chain reaction, well, it can become deadly fast.
Honestly, the single biggest challenge in fighting sepsis is just recognizing it early enough. And that brings us to the core of the problem. Why is it so hard to spot?
So, why is it so tricky? Well, for one, the symptoms are all over the map. They can easily look like the flu or just a bad cold. But the most dangerous part? It's that third point right there. Children are incredibly resilient. Their bodies can hide just how sick they are by compensating really well, right up until the moment they just can't anymore. To try and see through this, clinicians use tools like the Pediatric Assessment Triangle. It's a quick, hands-on way to assess a child's appearance, their breathing, and their circulation. They're looking for those subtle signs that something is seriously wrong, even if the child seems okay on the surface.
And this quote, man, it just says it all. Children have the ability to compensate well, but then crash quickly. We're not talking about a slow, gradual decline here. It's more like falling off a cliff. And that's exactly why every single second matters. So, if a child's own body can fool the human eye, how can we give clinicians a better line of sight? Well, this is where technology comes in, with something you can think of as a digital watchdog system. The question that's driving all this innovation is pretty simple. How can we give these amazing healthcare professionals a sort of superpower? How can we help them see the hidden patterns that are screaming sepsis long before that crash happens?
And the answer looks a lot like this: a staged alert system built right into the electronic health record, or EHR. Think of it like a digital safety net that's always on, always scanning patient data. As you can see here, it's a tiered system. An early alert might pop up for something like a high heart rate. That prompts a closer look, and if more warning signs appear, the alerts escalate, telling the medical team, hey, you need to get together right now and talk about sepsis. And the impact? It's incredible. Before this kind of system was put in place, the rate of missed sepsis recognition was about 17%. Afterwards, that number plummeted to just 4%. This shows you black and white what happens when you combine brilliant clinical expertise with smart technology. You catch this killer early. But remember, recognition is only half the battle. The second you identify sepsis, a new clock starts ticking. And now, you're in a race against the golden hour. And this is the playbook for that race. The 1-hour sepsis bundle. It's a clear, standardized set of rules that says within 60 minutes of recognizing sepsis, a list of critical interventions like giving fluids and broad-spectrum antibiotics have to be done. Not just started, but finished. The clock is absolutely relentless.
And if you're asking yourself, why 60 minutes? What's the big deal? Just look at this graph. It shows the risk of a child dying in the hospital based on how long it takes to get that 1-hour bundle done. You can literally watch the risk climb higher and higher. The data is just undeniable. Every hour you wait costs lives.
So we have this two-part approach, right? A digital watchdog for early detection and a rapid-fire treatment plan. But what's the proof? Does it actually work? Let's check out the evidence.
This chart tells such a powerful story. The bar on the left shows the survival rate for the kids who got this new protocol. The bar on the right, that's the rate for the group before these changes. That huge difference between the two bars, that represents a massive increase in survival. That represents lives saved. And this wasn't just some one-off lucky result. When you look at a review of multiple studies across more than 70 different hospitals, you see the same pattern. Putting these kinds of sepsis protocols in place was directly tied to major drops in mortality rates. The evidence is just rock solid.
So, after all that, where do we go from here?
The data is so clear, it really only points to one conclusion. We have to make speed the standard of care.
The path forward is really clear, and it's actionable. First, we need to get these standardized EHR alerts implemented everywhere to catch sepsis sooner. Second, teams need to get in the habit of huddling up the second a patient is flagged. And third, that 1-hour sepsis bundle has to become the absolute, undisputed gold standard for every child with suspected sepsis.
Look, the evidence is all there. A combination of smart technology and swift, standardized action saves children's lives. It's that simple. So if we know that speed is the standard that saves lives, the only real question left is, what are we waiting for?